again. I know it's the off night. Yeah, happy to have you here. So it's going to be a great show tonight. We got some interesting stuff taking place. Whole series of stuff happening. We went off together and hung out at a comedy club, and I slayed because I'm Santa Claus. But other than that, I'm just going to say this: your host and MC is Mark Sweetman.
Hey, thank you very much. Thank you. This is the off night, everybody. Every Monday night we meet here, 8 o'clock Eastern time. That's 5 Pacific time. And if you live in any of the other 22 time zones, you figure it out. It's New York time at 8, LA time at 5. And it's me, Mark Sweetman. I've hosted it now. What does that say there? Episode. Oh, wait, am I going to put my episode number up here? Hold on.
Episode number.
Episode number. It's up here somewhere. Here we go. There we go. We're episode number 287. We've been doing this since April of 2020.
Wow.
And I wanted to show you another thing here, what I got. This is the most important graphic we put up here. We'd like you to go, if you're watching this on YouTube, I hope you are, although it does get broadcast to other places. If you're not watching on YouTube, go to YouTube because nobody else counts our viewers like YouTube does. And that helps us grow the show, which we're trying to do. Hit that like button. Also, there's a way to subscribe on there. So do that on the YouTube page. And there's the YouTube address right there, youtube.com/@theoffnight. That's us. There might be other off nights. I think there are other off nights, but that's ours. We got the @ symbol because I got it first. So anyway, there's my sidekick and announcer, Andy Jensen. He's been with us since about episode, I don't know, I'm going to guess about episode...
It came in late.
Yeah, like 2001, I think. Because I was doing a number of co-hosts through the years.
Yeah.
And I think you came in about the September or October of 2021.
I think so, yeah.
That would have been about probably 75 to 80 into 75, 80, episode 80, something like that.
Yeah. I think that's pretty accurate there. I think it was like 2000.
And that's about the time we brought Andy in. I mean, not Andy. Sam Greenfield, who has since gone on to the off night in the sky.
Mm-hmm.
And but before we lost Sammy, we picked up Susan as our poetess, and we picked up Jason. You had been doing on location spots for us.
Oh yeah.
That was one. And we ran into Jason at a laundromat, wasn't it? I think
exactly.
It
was a laundromat in beautiful downtown Ann Arbor.
And Sam calls me up after that show and says, "Get that guy back." That was some good television. Get that guy back.
Okay.
Anyway, and Sammy was a big pusher for Susan's poetry too. That's she came on, did it once, and we decided to do it as a weekly function. Yeah. Anyway. We always start off with, after the intro, Andy tells me a little bit about his week, if there's anything interesting. You're going off to Victorville, California in a couple of weeks to play portray a particular character that is synonymous with the holiday season. So in case we have any young viewers, we won't talk about any characters that might be playing here. But
if there's a young viewer out there, just realize that I work with Santa. And it kind of works this way, you go into a Walmart and you see all those TVs on the wall and they're all showing the same thing. That's what we do with Santa. Okay. So just make sure you get your list up to us and we'll be able to do stuff. All right.
Okay. You have to do what Alan Cedar does and figure out how to get in the local parade circuit. We see Alan once in a while up on a float in the actual live parades around town.
Oh, wow. Well, I know. There's a group around here that sponsors those. You have to go through like an agency to do that.
No.
That's not far from what I might be doing. I'm going to try and approach an agency. I get to do the mall circuit.
The mall circuit that probably pays better than the parade circuit, I would think.
Well, you have one shot of the parade circuit, and then you have like a whole month
of mall.
So
a month of mall. There you go. There's your memo. There's your There's your memoirs right there, Andy. A month of malls by Andy Jensen.
Yes, exactly. God. So I'm looking forward to it. I was thinking about when I'm performing at the stand-up last night, and I realized I was getting very very I didn't get much responses. And I kept thinking about what, 1 week I'm going to be worshipped like Taylor Swift. So this doesn't matter to me at all.
That's right. That's right. All right. Well, let's bring Susan out here. She has a poem for us, and we'll read that, and then we'll let me see if I can get
Okay.
her. Oh, there she is, right there. All right.
Hello. Yeah, the mall
Hi.
was not bad. I was an Easter Bunny helper in college.
Oh wow!
Trying to think if I did anything.
I have an Easter Bunny story for you.
Okay.
Over at the Southland Mall, they were doing the Easter Bunny thing, and no, it was at we call it the Ghetto Mall, but it was the one that was at Fairlane, over next to the
By the train station.
next to the train station. It's over next to the Ford thing.
Across from Ford World Headquarters.
Yeah.
Right across Southfield, yeah.
So anyway, my person that works with me as Santa was doing the Easter set, and they had a guy who was a former Marine who was dressed in the costume of the Easter Bunny, and apparently there's this woman. She had a baby with her. She put it on the set. They were just about ready to leave, and they were paying the money, and then she looked over. Her son was getting in some sort of like physical fight with somebody. Okay, and she's at the set, and the Easter Bunny's there. The Easter Bunny set is there, and so what would you do at that point if you see your son? Would you just say like, "Hey, get out of that," or? But she decided to pull a gun out and start firing.
Oh my God!
Oh no!
And so
I was going to say, how old was the son? Because there's a difference between the son is 2 versus 22.
He was a teenager. She was holding a young one in her hand, and then the Easter Bunny, because he was a former U.S. Marine, smelled the gunpowder and immediately started to run.
PTSD. He gets a PTSD episode, right?
Exactly. He's throwing off every items in his hat, throwing off his shoes, and just diving for stuff. And everybody dived down behind their desks.
So good example for a teenager who couldn't control his emotions and.
But yeah, his mom was the one who was shooting the gun.
And that was last year.
Now, Andy, if you have if you have a pen and pad of paper with you, just jot down that's a story for your memoirs.
Oh, yeah.
Or a moth story.
The Santa moth story, the Santa Diaries.
Santa Diaries, yeah. But that was an Easter Bunny diary. So
same thing. Right. Basically, it's.
I don't have a good story like that. I worked as a helper over Easter break from Wednesday at Livonia Mall, and the Easter Bunny. Her husband was a cop, but not part of helping at the mall. But we took Polaroid pictures, and if our friends came through, we would say, "Oh, this one's messed up. You can have it for like 75 cents or something." I don't remember.
Wow.
But I took good pictures. Everybody wanted me to take the pictures.
Well, that's cool. That's cool. The roughest thing is getting the kid to look at you,
I think we had a wetter. That's about as exciting as it got.
Did you ever have a wetter, Andy?
Yes. I had the parents had been in the line for so long, the kid was wet, so I did have something that was like a red color sheet that I could put over my knee, so I had it ready to go. Yeah,
you keep those in nurseries all the time anyway, just for changing.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a big diaper thing, So there you go.
Right.
Yeah, it was red, so it fit into the shot, and I gave the kid back like this. There you go. Away with him now.
All right, I'm going to exit us, and I'm going to keep Susan out there so she can give us. She can give us the poem. Where is she now?
I have the poem. Okay, today, November 10th, 2025. 50 years ago today, the Edmund Fitzgerald went down. Lake Superior.
Mark, you took her off air.
I did. I don't know. I didn't mean to do that. Sorry about that. Hold on.
You can keep us all online there. But if you want me to do the poem, you might want to hear it.
Okay.
I can hear you.
Okay. 50 years ago today, the Edmund Fitzgerald went down. Lake Superior claimed 29 lives. when sadly they all drowned. Senate advances to end the shutdown, but air traffic is getting worse. Let's stop the pay for Congress and shut down the strings on their purse. It's now illegal to be homeless, so where will federal workers roam? People need to eat, and they might have a mortgage on their home. In Saudi Arabia, Kenyan women, domestic workers, are trapped. Single mothers cannot register the births of their babies, like being kidnapped. Survivors of rape or sex trafficking are deemed to have committed a crime because extramarital sex is illegal. Abused women are prosecuted and do time. The World Series was great all around and doesn't matter where you sat. Prince Harry, you do not need to apologize for wearing a Dodgers hat. I love my Canadian neighbors and always wish them well, but Harry cheered for the winning team. Naysayers can go to hell. That's your poem.
we gotta go to hell from Susan. How about that?
Well, I did that. I did MF.
Prince Harry had to apologize to Canada because he wore a Dodgers hat in Dodger Stadium at the World Series. I don't think he has anything to apologize for.
Everybody needs to get a life.
Everybody's offended over such stupid stuff. The Blue Jays played great, and they have nothing to be ashamed of, and they shouldn't ridicule somebody who cheered for the winning team.
All right, I want to go over some stuff in your poem here, but I want to get Jason out here first before we do that. So here's Jason.
Hey, guys.
Hi, Jason.
Hi, thanks for the poem, Susan.
He's always got something different to add to our conversation, so it's always good to have him here. Where are we? Single mothers cannot register the births of their babies.
Excellent.
Yes.
Where's this?
In Saudi Arabia, yeah. You might want to pull up the New York Times story for that. Yeah, so like domestic workers go over there and in Saudi Arabia, they collect your passport.
Yeah.
And in Saudi Arabia, if you have a baby out of wedlock, the baby has no rights. That child their birth cannot be registered. They can't go to school. Nothing. It's huge human rights violations. And if a woman claims she was raped or she's being sex trafficked, she's the criminal because
she has about a 50% chance of being beheaded in public.
Yes. So she's lucky if she only does time.
Yes.
But any children born and the mother is unmarried, those children can't leave Saudi Arabia because they have no documents in order to allow them to leave. So the media has picked up the story, and I hope things change.
Well, maybe Trump will bomb them too.
Good. I'll actually pay money for that. I mean, heck yeah. Our dear friends the Saudis. This is a country where they still behead women in public for practicing witchcraft.
Oh yeah.
So,
right.
So these are
they don't believe that that men can commit rape. Apparently,
no. Well, that's because
she was asking for it or something. So
because a woman's word is only half that of a man, because that's our lovely Islamic Sharia law, which everyone seems to be so wonderfully enamored of. So,
yeah.
There you go.
I think the women can't own property over there too. So.
Well, I mean, I didn't say it was all bad.
All right, now where is it illegal to be homeless? Where's that happening? I didn't get the reference there.
California.
Well, here in the States, Trump's trying to make it illegal to be homeless. I mean, you saw what happened a month or so ago in Washington, D.C. They rounded up all the street people, tore down their tents. So he could have a couple blocks to walk to a stupid restaurant.
All right, I'm gonna say something that it's gonna go out in public anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm not running for anything, but I think the reason they get kids to strap bombs to themselves and blow themselves up in parts of the country that haven't happened here yet, thank God, is because they have nothing left to live for.
Well,
I mean, we can't fuck people so much that they're willing to strap bombs. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We can't discourage people so much that they think the only thing they can do is off themselves and take people with them.
Well,
it's very sad.
Over in the troubled regions of the world, groups like Hamas and people who are Hamas-like, they often recruit people who have children who are mentally handicapped and or disabled, and then they are also given a pension for having their child go and blow themselves up. And so there's a beyond a perverse incentive. There's just outright the use of
but why would somebody do that unless they had incentive to do it?
Because the child is taught that they are going off to heaven in a better place. And as I said, they often use children who are mentally handicapped. That's what they do.
I was talking about homelessness here in the United States.
Comedy show, by the way. Comedy show.
And in Saudi Arabia, we're talking about the rights of women and children.
Yeah.
But here in the States, now, federal workers are at risk to have their home foreclosed, and
well, that would be a good thing, but look,
no,
Susan,
it would not.
Susan, listen, Susan. I hear what you're saying, and allow me to expand just a little bit. I've just received a message just a few minutes ago that one of my regular customers, who I picked up and dropped off for 20 years, is now living at the Ann Arbor Public Bus Station. This guy's a former CPA. He has severe curvature of the spine. He can barely walk.
Oh, shit.
Yes. And the thing is, here in Ann Arbor, we have what I call zombie buildings. These are large apartment buildings, anywhere from 4 to 16, maybe even 30 units that are purchased by investment cap companies. People are moved out. The building is going to be doomed. It's going to be torn down. But right now, because ownership changed, there's no certificate of occupancy. You have large apartment buildings that are sitting there quite empty, while a friend of mine, who's obviously in some dire straits, is quite literally living at the bus station. So there is housing. It is available. And yet, for some reason or another, we can't find a way to put the people who need it in those places, even if only temporarily. Right. Even if it was a lot of these buildings are staying empty for a year or two before they're blown up. Come to Ann Arbor, you'll see them with a big doom fence goes up. A building is doomed when the fence goes around it, and then then the people come in, they strip it of all the valuable goods, and then they put up something that looks like it was built by some insane demonic AI architect.
They evict the cheap housing, tear it down, put up expensive housing,
and this is what Ann Arbor does. This is what a nice liberal Democrat town. There hasn't been a Republican in this town in decades. If they ever find out, we don't even
have rent control here like they have in New York.
Well, rent control isn't really a good answer. Maybe capital control might be a better answer. Something along. I don't have all the. I wish. How
about we stop working?
Well, then go back to the losing your house. I mean, Susan makes a good point. Air traffic controllers. I've gone a few paychecks now. Do we really want the people who are in charge of our ATC to be a little peckish while they're on shift?
Also tired because they're picking up, Uber Eats and Uber Lyft and things like that to pay their rent, and that's not good either. So when did they sleep last?
And now you don't want to hear I like to listen to ATC because I'm a weird person, and when I'm not stalking children, I'm listening to air traffic control. By the way,
that took all the way to 1950.
19 into the show.
1952.
Good.
Well, while we're talking about children, let's talk about Saudi Arabia and the violation of women's and children's rights.
The children
and
that
human rights. It's just horrible. So I'm glad that
the term you're looking for is medieval. Because that's what it is.
And legitimate media outlets have picked up the story. There's more than just the New York Times.
But are there legitimate are there legitimate news outlets anymore?
There are some.
Isn't it if you don't suck Donald Trump's dick, you really aren't legitimate?
There are a few that don't have brown noses. There's an occasional Lois Lane out there, and so let's hope that we can do some good for the people trapped in Saudi Arabia.
Which reminds me, I used to know a guy I'd meet up in a phone booth named Clark, but never mind that. Listen,
that's a story for another time. Any other questions about the poem before I head out?
Nah. It was very nice to see you Friday night, by the way. So
I think that might be my go-to weekly showcase instead of Ipsy.
I tell you what, I mean, I'm not trying to abandon the unclub, as it were, but I had to appreciate it had a good vibe in the room, and
we had an audience.
We had a little bit of an audience, and it was still kind of loose, so it gave us a chance to kind of work on the material. It was everything a good open mic should be.
And the rules are be funny. That's
be funny. Exactly.
They could direct the light more broadly so that you don't have to stand in certain areas.
Well,
yes. The lighting left a little bit to be desired.
And the sound. And one of the things about the unclub we did is we purposely put cells in the lighting so that it would spread it out broadly.
Well, Mark, I think there's a difference between you when you were doing unclub and the present proprietors of unclub.
As for a stage and
when Claire left
a venue, I like it there in Canton.
Yes, absolutely, and again, it brings back memories that it's right across the street from an airport where I learned an awful lot about how to land an airplane in a tiny little airstrip right next to Metro Airport. Metatol Airport. Yeah, but one thing you don't want to hear with the strike and everything is some sort of ATC. Directing United 1298, you want to take a left, take a vector 270, and then fly it heading of 270 at 150 knots until you hit go fuck yourself and you're on your own. Pardon language.
Language.
Thankfully, in the 10 months since the DC airline helicopter crash over the Potomac, at least now, when the planes run into each other, it won't be because of DEI. Thankfully.
Well, there's that.
There you go.
Well,
So.
All
right. Well, I'm going to head out. Good to see you all.
See you.
All right.
Happy November 10th.
Oh, dear. Yes. Oh, my goodness. Oh, you changed perspective on me. Oh, no. What am I going to do? Well, there we go. That kind of worked.
What do you want? I can change it up. Hold on. What else we got? We got this view. Let's see. We got this view.
Oh, I'm.
All right, back to where we were.
I have managed to resurrect Sam's iPad, and I'm seeing some things. Unfortunately, the copy of Final Cut Pro that we have, I can't use on this because who knew? I mean, this thing is like out of date now.
Are you using Sam's iPad now?
Not presently. I'm on my cell phone presently, but I will be switching over to that fairly soon. Not tonight. And I need to get a hold of yours because when I started to do the update, it's like, yeah, nice. After what, 4 years? I thought you'd forgotten all about me. But you can almost hear Sam from beyond the grave saying, hectoring us with the usual sort of flair that he was so justifiably renowned for.
Well, the only thing I don't like about Apple updates is that they update obsolescence. They're trying to get you to the next product.
Well,
so every update, they're trying to make it more obsolete.
Is there a techno slave ship we're not supposed to be aboard between the Amazon, the Bezos, the Apple? I mean, at this point, we're all turning into sort of digital ore pullers that they can't wait to data mine and drag us into whatever digital hell. Again, as Andy has stated many times, the whole Soylent Green, they got a few things right and a few things wrong. It wasn't just the whole food pricing. It's only a matter of time before we have, again, what is it, the scoops showing up to put people into the. You got to admit that was a great scene when they're scooping up the protesters.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, kind of like that. Cool.
I remember how realistic that felt when I first saw it, and now
watching
it didn't look realistic at all.
No, I know, but at the time, let's face it, we were teenagers. Maybe we were high on some really bad Mexican weed. Not Andy, of course, because Andy never did anything like that. You know, he was a very good young man. He was.
You could tell that movie was from. You could tell that movie was from what 74, 75, something like that, because there wasn't any sort of how do you call it foreplay. There was no. I mean, they just got right into bed.
Got right. Yeah. Yeah.
There was no seduction. There was no. It was sort of like a given in the early 70s that you're going to bed. You know.
Yeah, yeah, and also the movies themselves. You've got 93 minutes, maybe 95. You know,
right?
We got to show this movie at the Cineplex 5 times a day.
Well, you know what I could appreciate about that was that must have been right about the time where the union said you got to show all the credits.
Yeah,
at the end of the film, because you should look. A lot of the films is like when we're looking at films that are like made before 1969.
Oh,
the end would come up, and that's it. That's all
I was watching. I watched.
We didn't have anything about how no animals were harmed, and we didn't none of that stuff.
It was just the cast and the director.
Right.
Yeah.
But one of the first things I watched with Sam's iPad, may he rest in peace, was The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. They had a really, again, from YouTube, had a really nice high def quality, really, but at the end, after this 3.5 hour long epic of, and who could forget the final scene with Eli Wallach and Lee Van Cleef and Clint, and they all look at each other, then they look at each other, then they look at each other again, then they look at each other, then they shoot at each other, then they look at each other. I mean, but the credits were about 30 seconds long, and it was like one plate with like 8 listings, and that was it. Over, goodbye, and you're out the door. So,
and I just thought of a movie that I'd like to see from back in the day that I haven't. Now I didn't see it when it came out because I wasn't old enough to see it. It was when I first started having G, and at that time GP.
Oh yeah,
remember GP? They changed it to PG, but it used to be GP.
GP, yep.
And R and X ratings, which X they had to get rid of.
They had M. They had mature too.
Yeah.
Oh,
mature.
M. That's right. Yeah. M. Yep. M, R, and X. X they had to get rid of because
the porn industry co-opted it.
Yeah, and so you're right. So that's how we came up with NC-17. But that was like 20 years later before they did that.
Yeah, Midnight Cowboy was an X-rated movie.
So was Fritz the Cat.
Fritz the Cat. Ralph Bosque. Yeah, I remember watching that, and that. Oh, again, it's very much of its time, shall we say?
Was Bob and Terrell, Ted and Alice? I think that got re-edited.
That became an M, as memory serves, and that was also.
But anyway, the film I'm thinking of. Did you ever see The Sterile Cuckoo?
Oh my God, it's been ages. Liza Minnelli.
Did she got nominated? Did she win the award for that? I can't remember.
I think she. Well, Mark, you're the one with the.
I got it right here. Hold on.
There you go. He is the Lieutenant Uhura of this podcast. Will be played by Mark Sweetman.
Talk to the computer.
Yeah, we will. We're even going to get him one of those great big futuristic earpiece. Nowadays that people would laugh at, but she had to look so great.
Never won an Oscar.
I think she did for Arthur.
Yes, Liza Minnelli won the Academy Award for Best Actress for
Cabaret
in 1970.
She won for Cabaret.
Cabaret, yeah.
Huh.
Another Fagala movie, but yeah, great.
How many nominations has Liza Minnelli gotten for an Oscar?
At least 4.
Liza Minnelli has received
The Sterile Cuckoo. She was nominated for the Best Actress for The Sterile Cuckoo in '69 and Cabaret in '72.
There you
go. And no, she didn't have any supporting actor awards or nominations.
Not for Arthur?
For what?
Arthur?
Nope.
God. Dudley Moore was so good in that movie.
That was pretty good.
So was John Gielgud.
Minnelli.
It's a little dated, but not too bad.
Well,
awards and here we go. Nominations.
I mean, have you seen modern? Andy, have you the modern movies these days?
Wow, Liza Minnelli has been nominated 6 times for Golden Globes.
Yep.
4 times for Grammys. She's been nominated 4 times and won 3 times for a Tony. So she's more of a Broadway actress than a.
But she doesn't have an EGOT.
She's got a Grammy. She's
Okay.
got an Emmy. Yes,
She does. Oh, she got an Oscar.
Yep, she's got an Oscar.
Got
an Oscar for Cabaret.
Yeah.
She got an Emmy. God knows for what. It doesn't. Let me see if I get here.
I bet she got it for her performance in that Ron Howard show.
Yeah.
She got Golden Globe nominations for The Sarah Cuckoo, Lucky Lady, New York, New York, and Arthur. She got a Primetime Emmy Award for her concert film Liza with a Z.
Okay, yeah, right. I remember
so she
that.
She is an EGOT.
Yeah, she has an EGOT?
Yep.
All right. Okay, because if she doesn't have an EGOT, then no one deserves an EGOT. I mean, come on.
She won her first Tony in 1965 before she did a film for her performance, lead actress in Flora, the Red Menace.
Right.
She was nominated for her performance in the musical The Rink.
All right.
She got a special Tony Award. I'm not sure this really counts as a Tony. I guess she won it for her concert show because it was at the Winter Garden. That's a Broadway theater. It was called Liza at the Winter Garden. I'm not sure that really counts.
I love the way Andy's filling the screen. He reminds me the Burl Ives production of 1984 with him, Burl Ives as Big Brother.
Yes.
I mean, it's not quite as threatening. It's like, you'll be sent to a camp in Upper Minnesota, and you'll be given you'll be given oatmeal with maple syrup and
a Swedish language book.
Until you love Big Brother. That's just the way it's. Yeah.
Well, I thought by putting my face as close as
it's great.
Nice background.
It works. Works. I'm not criticizing. Just pointing out that the sort of free association that I'm so well renowned, and I just got out of bed like half an hour ago.
Oh, that's good.
Last night I.
When you do comedy, what is your favorite thing to do? Do you like to set material, or do you like to just rip off the audience?
I like to riff. I mean, you've seen my set material is not great. It's not bad, but the best comedian. Look. I've been watching a lot of Richard Pryor's ended up on YouTube lately, and I've been watching it, some of his movies and whatnot. Now, I would argue
last artist to get an EGOT.
Yeah.
Last one.
Yeah.
Elton John.
Oh wow.
Well, yeah.
Again, his Emmy was the last one.
Yeah.
Because he got that in 2024. It was for his farewell concert at Dodger Stadium.
Oh, okay. Did he get the Lion King for the Oscar?
Yeah, Lion King was for
music.
The Oscar, Elton John.
Well, while he's researching,
Oscar, the Oscar was for the Lion King in '95.
Okay.
Of course, he won the Grammy when he was young.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, I've seen some recent pictures of Elton John, and he looks like a Dame Edna lighting double at this point. It's just, yeah. At any rate, Andy, you look at Richard Pryor, and obviously this is a guy who's been pounding the stage for 20 years at this point, right? I mean, he is a seasoned pro, and you really can't quite tell. You can tell a lot of it. I mean, just as a comedian, a lot of this is scripted and whatnot. But the way he's out there and able to present it in such a conversational format, and Carlin was another one who could do this, who could just kind of wander off. But it's my understanding that Carlin had a lot of his stuff really well rehearsed, really well scripted.
Carlin ended up in the end doing one hour taped HBO concert every year.
Right.
Yeah.
And the way he did it was he had regular residency in Vegas.
Yep.
And he did an hour show. And every month after he did a taping, he would add 5 new minutes
to
the act and take 5 minutes out. And that's how he developed it. So by the time he got to the next concert taping, he had 12 new segments, 5 minutes each, that were all rehearsed at least a month.
Yeah.
Because he was doing it every night in Vegas. And that's how he that's how he wrote so much. And so that allowed him, that whole year allowed him to, if something really wasn't working well, he could take it out If you want to expand something, you could expand it, and that's how he did it.
So he never.
But everything was very well rehearsed.
Well,
not necessarily written out, but he knew what he was going to say. There was hardly any improvisation.
Well, like with Pryor, Live at Sunset Strip, that's 3 shows that they filmed
and put together. Yeah.
Then they edit into one. I mean, Mark, you were around back in the glory days when, I don't know, what was the big deal? I mean, obviously getting a series was a big deal, but what, getting an HBO special? Was that sort of like,
Carson,
the appearance on Carson,
the appearance on Carson. Everyone at the Improv, I mean, even if they gave you 10 minutes, they did their 6 minutes and then dicked around for 4.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because everybody was trying to get the timing down for that 6-minute Carson set. And that, because Carson was the only thing out there that everybody saw. Not everybody had HBO. Not everybody, you know what I mean? Not everybody.
Right.
It was before Carson, it was Ed Sullivan. But once Carson moved to California,
yes,
and he did so, basically Mitzi was there already when he moved out there, and Bud pretty much moved and opened up an Improv in 78 or 70, no, 79, no, 78, which is about a year or 2 after Carson had moved to California. He had done his show from New York until like the mid 70s.
Right.
And so all that happened before Mitzi and Bud. There was the Ice House, which is still the longest running stand-up comedy club in the nation, even older than the original Improv.
Wow.
But the Ice House is where Tom and Dick Smothers played. Before there were clubs, it was a place where Jonathan Winters would perform.
Right. Former Marine Jonathan Winters.
Yeah.
Yes. George.
How on earth that guy was a Marine? I just don't. I mean, I see it, but I don't see it. You know what I mean? You can tell the guy had some inner toughness going, and he was a hell of a painter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I mean,
you do have to be a little crazy to be a Marine, I'd say.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, but Mark, later on, you got Letterman, which I'm told was a really fearsome program to be on, because if you made a mistake on Letterman, it was like there was like almost a trap door literally underneath the set to get rid of you. That's what Dana Gould kind of described it that way in one of his podcasts.
It was, you did have a lot of latitude on Letterman, but by latitude I mean they didn't stop you from saying something,
right?
But you had to do what you were supposed to say,
right?
In other words,
you gave him the set.
Carson wouldn't let you go off script, even if it was approved material type of thing.
Right.
What I mean?
Right.
Letterman, they wanted you to stay on script as well. Letterman at the first, he had a lot of the people that Carson had.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the people that were running that way, it wasn't until Letterman sort of signed a new contract, and even more so when he went to CBS.
Right.
That he brought his people with him, and he only brought the people that were with him at NBC that he wanted to come with him, Paul Schaefer and
it's my understanding that Dave Letterman can be a bit of a difficult human being to work with.
Yeah, I'm going to defend difficult people by saying I would have been a bastard if I had made it. If
you're running a show where there's
your name is on the show.
Your name's on the show. There's anywhere from 50 to 200 people, depending on the size of the staff. Compare that to Brian Gumbel that had no reason to be an asshole.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He could be replaced by a monkey as far as that show goes.
Careful with the analogies. I mean, remember Howard Cosell got in trouble for that on Monday Night Football when he got drunk. Look at him run. Yeah.
All right, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Tom Brokaw. I'm sorry. What I meant to say was Tom Brokaw.
I understand. In this modern age, God forbid, we should say the first wrong thing to come out of it will be pillory. Of course, it might be good for the show if Mark Sweetman were pilloried. I mean, I'm not saying that there should be a crowd with pitchforks and torches, although I pay extra for that.
Did you ever see that? Did you see that the show that's
rubber tipped pitchforks?
Did you see the Louis C.K. take off on the Tonight Show?
What's that?
The Louis C.K. take off on the Letterman show?
No.
For his show, when he had that show on TV where he eats a pizza coming out and playing, he was auditioning for David Letterman. It was like he was auditioning for David Letterman, but the guy he had to get through was played by David Lynch.
Yes, yes, I do remember that. I remember Lynch.
It was hysterical. It was just hysterical.
That is hilarious.
Yeah. Lynch was again one of those guys who you just give him a little bit of something and he'll chew up all kind of scenery. You just let him wind him up, let him go. And again, Andy, maybe that goes to is that all rehearsed and whatnot, or is that just him? I don't know.
Oh, Lynch?
Yeah, I mean, it probably some combination of the two.
Well, he did a lot of work in his own show, Twin Peaks and stuff.
Yeah,
guest character on that.
Yeah,
but it was interesting when Lang, who worked at was it Diane Lang or
right?
The younger one, not Diane Lang, but the blonde woman from Jurassic Park. She was in a lot.
Laura Dern.
Laura Dern.
Laura Dern. Yeah,
she was in a lot of Lynch's movies.
Yes,
and she came across this guy who came up and asked her questions, like an assistant to the director. And she said,
an AD they call him.
An AD. Yeah. So she went up to her and says, he wants me to go and find some monkey and and a boot with a left foot gone and some sort of weird, stale old bread. And she looked at him and says, "You're in a Lynch movie, buddy. Get going."
David Lynch didn't David Lynch direct Elephant Man?
Yes, that was his first big commercial breakthrough.
That was probably one of the most un-David Lynch-like films.
Yeah,
Hollywood probably was shocked when that came out.
Did you ever see The Straight Story with Robert Fox? Was it Robert Foxworth? He played Alvin Straight, the guy who made headlines back in the 80s by crossing the U.S. on his lawnmower.
Yeah, I saw that. I didn't really.
Yeah.
And Harry Dean Stanton, who's got one line in one scene, and it makes the movie. The two of these guys, they played brothers who are estranged from one another,
right?
And they just sit down and again, I think it ends in South Dakota or something along those lines. It's so typical. If you know South Dakota, it's so typical of them because they just kind of look at each other, sit down, have a sip of a beer. It's like, hey, how's it going? and if you know the notoriously taciturn people of that region.
Did you guys ever see Nebraska with Bruce Dern and the Saturday Night Live actor? I'm trying to think of his name now.
Oh yeah, Will Forte.
Yeah,
brilliant show.
That was a great movie.
It was a documentary to me because that was my cousins.
Yeah. Yeah, that's just
about right. I have really good cousins, and these aren't bad cousins, but this is like they send us up. We have to go visit for like Easter, and then we go to Easter. And it's like, so what's going on? They're just sitting there watching whatever, almost like the Wheat Report or something, and there'd be nothing, no conversation whatsoever. Your Q&A is like, how's it going? Good. Happy Easter. Thanks.
Thanks.
I'll never forget when Sue and I first started dating. She talked about how we'd be out so late that she'd hear the farm reports on W. Well, like we'd be listening to the Tiger game.
God.
The Tiger game would be over, so we'd make out for a few hours, and then by the time she got back in the car, the farm reports were on.
God, I just remember what it was
hog
like.
Hog belly. She goes, you love a guy if you're out with him until you hear about the hog belly.
Well, hog belly was my dancer name in the late 70s. So
you changed your dancer name so many times.
I had to.
All right, girls, right now it's hog belly. Come on, hog belly.
Together. Come on out there, Sue. Come on.
All right, boys, settle down. It's hog belly.
It's hog belly and the lipstick's nipples.
He gonna swing around that pole and count paper money. It's because
that's right.
Because he's a man who has a job. That's oh God, you're just you're bringing me back to a time when I was young and could do things like that. When boy, just staying. I regaled my young nephew the other day with tales of what it was to be in that halcyon age just after getting out of high school, spending the night out with your friends, doing 2.5 tabs of Purple Barrel mescaline and drinking a gallon of Kroger cold duck, and barely living to the next day. Yeah, after drinking a gallon of Kroger cold duck, having a hangover that would murder an entire Marine platoon.
I remember those days.
Yes.
Going out with the guys in the Peugeot, drinking Mountain Dew, so we went crazy.
Oh, God.
You go find Dorito. A lot of Dorito. Man, we were just high as kites. Okay.
I remember my mother after the time that I drank like a whole bottle of Southern Comfort and had to be poured into my domicile. And the next morning I'm like, oh, I'm sick. And she's not, you're not sick. You're just hungover. What? You think I was having fun all those nights out there? Get your ass out of bed.
We were bouncing off the walls.
We got work to do. And I'm like, no, kill me now. So you ain't that lucky. Now quit your crying. Get up here. We got, such as it was to have a strong Southern hillbilly mom. She just wasn't going to take a whole lot of, you bought the ticket. Now you took the ride. Here you go, boy. Yeah, it was a different Ann Arbor in the late 70s was an interesting time. Never to be repeated, I'm afraid.
And for me, in the late 70s, Ann Arbor for me,
oh boy,
was halfway between our house in Waterford and my aunt's house in Manchester.
Yes. So we're a way station. And I know both of you guys probably went to Taylor and did things that are still unspoken after all these years.
I had never been to Taylor.
No one has.
Until I don't think I'd ever been to Taylor until I was married.
I haven't been to Taylor until I drove for Uber.
Yes. God, I remember the first time driving through Warren after dropping off a sack of drugs for, you remember paratransit. And I don't know what was, I mean, we were truly the transporters. It's like, don't look in the bag. You sign here, you put your fingerprint there, and we expect to see you at the dispensary in an hour and a half, or we're sending the state police after you.
Do you remember the Harry Truman and Pentagast organization?
Pentagast. Yes.
I was Harry Truman for paratransit, okay?
Yeah, exactly.
I was sort of the front of the legitimate front to a bunch of wild people in the back.
And here's one of the reasons why I respect Harry Truman so much. When Pendergast died, and he'd been a convicted felon, he'd been in federal prison, and they said vice presidents do not attend the funerals of convicted felons. And he's like, well, this vice president does. And he went.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy.
History, and
it
was interesting because he worked with Pendergast, wouldn't put up with his bullshit.
Yeah.
Said, hey, public paid for this stuff. Public gets deserved.
Yeah. Well, Pendergast, it was one of those things he needed sort of all these guys to survive. They kind of need a front, if you know what I mean. I mean, Al Capone gave money to charity. There were
how many people kept asking me for my pee? You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's a German thing. You were in the wrong bar, Andy. You just didn't.
I was saying from the taxi group.
I talk about the time that you were out in front of the bar with a 250-pound shirtless dude wearing lederhosen.
Get your pee here. Come and get your pee here. Get your pee.
Get your pee.
Get your pee. Clean pee. Get your clean pee right here.
Yeah, right here. Yeah.
Need some work. Gotta get some clean pee.
Yeah. And now I get offers from jobs saying, oh, no marijuana test required for this driving job. So it's, I get to drive some kind of a commercial vehicle going here and there, and I could be high on some truly good weed. And now, of course, I don't smoke and don't drink. And
we got 10 minutes left. You guys want to talk sports at all?
Go ahead.
Go Lions.
All right. Go Lions. But let me quickly talk about DCFC because they had an upset in their first round of the playoffs.
Right.
They're playing up a division this year. They do soccer here in the U.S. the way they do it in Europe, which I love this. I wish they did this in baseball and hockey. What they do is the worst two teams in the Premier League go down to the next level, and the best two teams from the lower level go up into the majors.
Yes.
Basically, it's as if it's like this year. If they did that in baseball this year, the Colorado Rockies and the whatever the other shitty team was this year. Oh, the Chicago White Sox.
Right.
They would go down to AAA, and then the two best AAA teams would be playing in the majors next year. That's how. And so that's the local side. And so the DCFC, Detroit City Football Club, has been moving up in these leagues. And they've been around for like 15, 20 years. They've always played in Hamtramck at Keyworth Stadium. I love that stadium. I played there in high school. But they were in the playoffs now for the first time in this USL, which is the upper division. Second time. They lost to the Pittsburgh, the same team they lost this year. They lost last year in the Eastern Conference first round. This year they weren't ranked as high in the playoffs, but they did get past the number 1 seed by beating the Louisville team last week. And then this last weekend, they lost to Pittsburgh, who they lost to the year before. Double overtime, right? They ended regulation 0-0. They played 2 overtimes, 0-0. And after 2 overtimes, you go to penalty kicks. And they lost 4-3 in penalty kicks. And all I could think of was, yeah, that's really going to attract American audience, having that 0-0 through.
Oh yeah,
they're gonna love that game.
Did you see that this weekend, Michigan, our Wolverines, will be playing Northwestern in Chicago, I believe at Comiskey Park?
What?
In a night game?
What? Hold on.
Yes.
This week?
We got to go to Google for that
week.
one.
Yeah.
All right. Hold on.
Go to the robot.
Where is the Northwestern University of Michigan game being played this weekend? Wow. It just says at Northwestern. Where is it here?
Well, just go to Google Michigan v. Northwestern.
It's at Wrigley Field.
Wrigley Park. Okay, whatever.
Wrigley.
All right.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Interesting. That's cool.
Night game, and I think Michigan needs to be worried, even though it's Northwestern, because as we all know in the Big Ten, every now and then you get a team that just kind of jumps up. I mean, Indiana.
Look at Indiana. Yeah. Who would have thought Indiana would be the number 2 team in the nation? Holy cow.
And here they are, and I'm sure our dear friends from that other school south of the border who, again.
Ohio State.
Yeah, that would. You shouldn't say their name, much like one shouldn't say the proper name of Satan, or other demonic entities.
All right, Michigan State's coach going to make it through the season this year? Is he going to?
He will, but he is a dead man walking.
Okay, next thing up. Anybody watching the Red Wings?
No. Not modern Red Wings, no.
No. I mean, talking about the 25-26 Red Wings.
Yeah.
They started off like 6-1. Now they're down to like 9-6 or something like that. Wow. They're not. They've kind of slowed down a little bit. But the Pistons right now. Let me check their score. Before the game started, if they're down by 7. If the playoffs had started today, they'd be the number 1 seed. They're 8-2.
Right.
Oh shit! They're losing to Washington.
That's something the Lions can't say.
They're only in the third quarter. They'll come back like they have for the last 10 games.
Where's our
they've been playing great. Of course, the Lions had that awesome comeback victory in Washington, although they're playing a pretty poor Washington team. How does a team go from being Washington last year, and all they did was lose their quarterback? And how does losing your quarterback make your defense suck so bad? I would have thought the defense would have stayed up. Although one of the announcers was talking about how all the improvements they made last year between seasons were on offense. They got Deebo Samuels, and they got all these offensive players where their offense was fine.
Yeah.
And where they're sucking is on defense. Yeah. And the Detroit Lions offensive line that sucked so bad against Minnesota. I don't know what happens, and they're never going to let us know because I'm sure it's the type of thing that you don't want the other team knowing what you're doing. But whatever they did to improve that offensive line between Minnesota and Washington game, that was fantastic. We should hire these football coaches to take care of a lot of our other business. They seem to know. They seem to know what to do.
Yeah. Well,
Well, I have a question. So Washington lost their quarterback from last year?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is he injured or did he just left?
He's injured. I think he's out for the season.
No, they misplaced him. They
they put him down and they can't figure out.
Exactly. Someone put him down and they turned around. Now he's gone.
Now he's gone.
Saudi Arabia, and he couldn't get back out.
No, everybody acknowledges he was the reason why they were in the championship game last year against the Eagles.
Yes,
and they're not even going to come close this year.
I'm sure Sam would be saying this is why we can't have nice things. We keep losing.
Well, to me, it tells you why when you come close, like the Lions are.
Yeah,
you've got to make that. You got to go for it. I mean, you just have to.
The gulf between, say, the number 10 team in the NFL and the top 3 teams in the NFL
is like infinitesimal.
Yeah, I mean, it just. But what? Yeah, compared to say again, I wanted to ask this earlier because you guys were talking about the Toronto Blue Jays. Are the Toronto Blue Jays? Aren't they the old Washington Senators, or am I wrong?
No. The Blue Jays. The Montreal Expos became the Washington Nationals.
Okay.
The Toronto, they were formed in 1969 as an expansion team.
Right.
And played there until I think.
Well, what happened to the you remember the Senators left Washington in what?
The Senators left
71?
Washington. No, the Senators left Washington in 1961 and became the Minnesota Twins.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Actually, I think it was 58. 61 was the new Washington Senators, an expansion team.
Right.
They came in the same year that the California Angels came in.
Right.
And they played in Washington, D.C. for 11 seasons and then moved to Texas and became the Texas Rangers.
Okay.
These are only movements I remember because I was alive at the time. I mean, the first movements were the Dodgers and the Giants.
Yes,
the Dodgers were moving to L.A. And they talked the Giants into moving to San Francisco.
Right.
And the Senators to move to Minneapolis. And the A's to move from Philadelphia to Kansas City.
Yes.
Because the travel for the Los Angeles team to go back to these other cities, Philadelphia, New York, and Washington, would have been so great. But to have them in Minnesota, Kansas City, and San Francisco would relieve them of a lot of the travel.
Right.
That was in 58. In 61, they added the Houston Astros in the National League. They're now an American League team.
Right.
They added the Angels, and they added the new Senators. There was one more team that was added in the National League in 61. Who was that?
Well, remember, I'm still the one who's getting used to pitchers not having to bat. So, I mean, I'm a little behind. I admit
that's only been 2 years, and you know who? Pitchers not having to bat. They decided to do that, and then who comes around and screws that whole thing up? Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because he's the only he leads the league in home runs, and he's a pitcher. So I mean,
right.
that hasn't happened since. That has and it didn't happen when Babe Ruth's time because he could only play every fourth game because he was a pitcher. They didn't put him in the field.
Right.
They only put him in the field when he got traded to the Yankees, and they said, "You're not going to pitch. You're going to hit. Learn how to put the outfield."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, it makes sense to have the designated hitter for and the pitcher doesn't have to swing a bat because you're paying him millions of dollars to pitch. Why would you have to? Why would you have to deal with batting?
Well,
I see that. Yeah, I agree with it. But we've had it in the American League since 1973, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. Since 1973, and they've only had it in the National League since 2023. So there's a 50-year difference right there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, God, all kinds of 50-year differences going on.
And the American, the National League is also about 32 years older than the American League. There are a bunch of other leagues, of which the Tigers were actually part of what was called the Western League. The Western League was not considered a major league until they became the American League. And what they did was they moved a lot of their Detroit was an original city. Chicago White Sox were an original city. The Philadelphia A's, which are now the Oakland A's, were an original city.
Here's where I wish Sam was still with us. Did any of the Negro League teams make it into, or did they just strip out the talent?
No, they stripped out the best talent from the Negro Leagues. The Negro Leagues fell apart. They fell apart because all their best players went to the major league. So.
Well, sure, they started getting paid. Well, they're getting paid, and we're out of here.
All right. Well, our show's over. We got to get out of here now. So.
Oh dear.
You know what that means. We're gonna get our music up here, and we're gonna say goodbye to everybody. So
say goodbye. Say goodnight.
Yeah.
Mark is going to push button. It's funny we don't have a sizzle reel of Mark wanting to throw the computer across the room this week.
Oh, that would be great.
Oh,
we need that. We should just go out someday with a camera and create a sizzle reel.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, we could because all this stuff is on YouTube. I think there is an AI.
Yeah.
You probably have to pay for it, but it'll go and take all the 287 episodes of their show, and if we ask them to just pick out Sam highlights,
yeah,
you have to depend on AI picking out what they consider a highlight. You could probably give it some definition or something.
Yeah,
but we could get a nice. There's a 2-minute sizzle reel of Sam Greenfield off-note appearances. Well, we're working on that. Anyway, I'm ready to deliver this other iPad whenever you're ready for it.
I was going to try and come by today, but because I had an airport, but it was earlier in the morning, so
call ahead of time. I'm busy. I was in court today, so you wouldn't have called me today. I was in court, so
so was I.
Whatever you do, call ahead of time because I've got a busy week. So
all right, I'll make sure to schedule it appropriately, and we'll get everything squared away.
The next unclub is on the 16th. Yeah, on the 16th. So that's this Sunday. So there will be an unclub.
Well, if you're going to be there, why don't you bring it with you? And
I'll let you know if I'm going to be there. Again, like I said, it's kind of off and on. I've got my daughter's having a baby here in the next month.
Okay.
I'm trying to help my son in California buy health insurance.
Oh boy. Have fun. Yeah.
They may have to go without it and pray. Anyway, other than that, we'll be here every Monday night at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. That's New York and Detroit. Yeah. Or if you're Pacific Time, you're LA, you're Seattle, we're coming up 5 o'clock. If you live in any of the other 22 time zones, you know how to gauge from New York and LA. You've been on the planet for at least 18 years. And if you haven't, please ask your parents for permission to watch the off-night. All right, we'll be back next week.
Thank you. And are we off yet? Are we?